times.
That's crazy. So this is something where you can go and find a place you can stay and know that the owner isn't going to try and call the cops on you or throw you out or anything like that. So.
But friendly.
Exactly.
Like the joint.
Like the joint.
Word so.
So how does KTVA, that was the station you were at, right?
Yeah.
How do they not throw a bunch of money at you to keep you? I mean, you're obviously the best thing to happen to their crappy station. I mean, really, you put their name on the map. You've done more for them than their program director's done in 10 years. I mean, do you have anything to say about the management there, or any, like, Sid Terhune? Or, you know Sid Terhune? Is he one of your people you work for?
I've never heard that name before.
No? Who was your program director over there?
Excuse me. We had, sorry, I'm wearing this brace right now. My back is really killing me, so you guys are going to have to...
We're all patients here, so we understand.
Okay,
Well,
so...
we got a lot of medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that too.
No, this is the first time we've seen dabs in a while here. I wasn't sure if anyone knew they existed on the East Coast. I was a little worried.
Wow, okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Came to the right place. Not called Fully Baked for no reason.
But KTVA, Burt Rubman was the news director, and he was my absolute favorite boss, like, of all time. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him, and none of them saw it coming. None of them knew.
So you like this guy?
Yeah, he was a great boss.
So what do you do to the people you don't like?
Well, the thing with this is it was just something that had to be done. I mean, at the end of the day, it was people's lives at stake, or me staying on a job.
Yeah.
Just a job.
Did you plan it? Like, did you plan, I'm going to quit on the air?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
How long you planned that for? Because you had the whole cannabis club, and you were in the backgrounds of that, correct?
Yeah. For like 8 months.
Oh, wow.
But I had planned it, like, right when we started up. I knew that I was going to have to step away from it because the demand and the need in the area was just that great, like, right off the bat.
Really?
You didn't tell none of your co-hosts.
Absolutely not.
She looked like dumb as fuck.
Okay, and we're back to the news.
Great. That was awesome. That was amazing.
That was like the icing on the cake. Like, that took it, like, uber viral. That was great. I know.
Definitely.
But she was a prohibitionist anyway.
Yeah.
And she was just...
So were you, like,
so whatever.
were you ever on the scene prior to that coming out? Like, were you ever, like, out there fighting on the scenes, an activist, prohibition?
You're not allowed to as a journalist.
Oh, wow. Did you ever, like, try to request those stories? Like, hey, you guys hear about this cannabis story over here? Try to broadcast it?
Well, I was the
How'd that go?
You were the weed reporter?
I was the weed reporter. I was the crime and courts reporter, and the weed beat just fell into my lap because we had legalization looming, and they lumped it up with crime. So that's where I actually started learning about all the patients and everything and getting a better understanding for just what was going on.
What kind of patients are you seeing out there?
All kinds. I was actually introduced to one. He's not a member of the club, but I was at a Costco a few weeks back, and this guy just walks up to me, and he's like, me and my son, he's a medical marijuana patient registered with the state. He's 8 years old, and we just want to thank you for everything it is that you're doing. So it's everyone from all ages, all backgrounds, all different medical conditions.
So, according to the laws over in Alaska, you guys can't sell or anything like that. How do you go about helping out those patients out there?
What we do is we provide a safe access point. You're not allowed to sell it, but you are allowed to share it. So we connect patients in need to patients with green.
Just like a barter system, kind of.
Something along those lines, but we don't get into details.
You got to become a member of the collective, right?
You got to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how it works. That's how they get the money. Smart.
So, yeah.
Wish we had something like that here in Jersey. How much does medicine cost in Alaska? Just out of curiosity.
Per pound.
What does an eighth cost here?
I don't know. The lowest we can get is like a quarter.
40.
It's about that.
Price. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some good.
For some decent. We don't really have bad.
How is the bud out
Alaska.
there?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really grow it outdoors or anything like that because it's freezing. So it's all indoor, mostly hydroponic. And people pay a lot of attention to their plants.
Now, with the name like Charlo Greene, you ever thought about starting your own strain?
I've been approached, but no.
No,
Not myself.
Not
I'm not
yet?
gonna like breed and like.
Oh, of course
'cause
not.
gotta
You find other
dedicate,
people to do all the hard work.
Exactly. So when I find one that I really like, I'll sign off on it.
Hell yeah.
No, you get
That Alaska
right.
Thunderfuck going. It's not there
you
anymore.
get it cross.
You're-
You do a couple crossbreeds and create your own strain.
Well, what are you? You
No,
offering?
I'm not a weed scientist.
You offering?
not a weed science.
No, I'm
a
just
weed
saying.
grower.
I know. You can create your own strain.
You
but
heard
it
it,
takes
heard it here on
takes a
Fully
few-
Baked Radio.
It takes a few crossbreeds.
Ed's
though.
going to create the Charlo Greene strain.
I can't grow here. You can't grow here. You know,
So what
it's-
are the
it's
laws like
amazing.
here?
Oh, it's draconian, and we have Chris Christie, who's my arch nemesis. That's what I call
Yeah,
him.
I've been watching.
Well, you're wearing a bracelet that shows Jackson Storms. He's an American refugee. I'm wearing a bracelet that shows a girl who died waiting for her marijuana in Jersey. So, yeah, our program's pretty broken. When kids are American refugees, it's ridiculous. I know 3 personally that have moved to Colorado, to Maine. Vivian Wilson. Sarah went to Maine.
Ricardo's there now as we speak.
Yeah,
It's sad.
exactly.
It's sad.
You for real?
So
Do you see a lot of kids out there like suffering? Because it's horrible. It's horrible what I'm saying.
We have, even though we do have legalized recreational marijuana and medical back in 1998, we still have this crazy stigma up there. So no, very few parents or patients under the age of 21 are even willing to come out and share their story just because they're still going to find a way to get to you.
and the vast majority of people are grown adults that are put in jail or prison. But you know what? Up there, you really don't have. They really don't imprison too many people, though, do you? They just kind of screw you up. You don't go to jail for possession in Alaska, do you?
Yes, you do.
Do you? Oh. I
Yes,
didn't
you
realize
do.
Wait, what's that case? Oh, but you're allowed to have it in your house. There was a Supreme Court case that said since the late 70s. I forget the guy. I actually talked
Erwin
to that
Raven?
guy. Raven. I've talked to Mr. Raven. He died recently too.
Wow. Rest in peace.
But he won this case in Alaska where you can possess marijuana in your house, but you couldn't have it out and about.
Right.
So yeah, so that's crazy to everybody here because you know how many times cops come to your house, smell weed, and next thing you know you're in jail here. Yeah, so
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
That's
did
how
you
it
grow
works
up?
in the car.
Did
They
you grow
actually
up in
pull you
Alaska?
over,
I did.
You
They
did.
say, "We smell marijuana," and they take your car and boom, you're done.
Yeah,
all
you
it
lose your
takes in
cards
Jersey.
here, everything.
That's like terrifying. My car.
We had a patient. we had a patient recently in Lodi, New Jersey, who had like her car, her house, her money, like all kinds of stuff just taken for her, and just ran through the court system for a couple of years, and then she had to plead guilty to accept the plea to get like half of her money back.
Yeah, $5,000 and they kept half of it. Nice, huh?
And she had a medical marijuana card.
Yeah, she's a card holder in Jersey, just like we are. Me and Wayne.
So, what are you guys doing about it?
We brought publicity to as many things as we can. There's so many cases.
Yeah, we smoked at the
So-
police department. Me and Wayne smoked at the marijuana at the police department.
We
I don't know.
smoked at the courthouse.
And the courthouse.
A lot of activism, a lot of footwork, you know, just fighting the fight. You do a little bit of everything. We have the Thursday protest in front of the State House where we host our Thursday podcast at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We host it right in front of the state building where all the state workers, Christie, all the lawyers, all those guys walk in and out of, you know, so it's a whole lot of footwork that's happening.
And there's a reason putting this this building right where we're at here, right across the street is City Hall of the state capitol. The next street over on that corner there is the U.S. Federal Courthouse. Across the street is the Environmental Protection Agency of the state. This building across the next intersection across the street houses an assortment of state entities, DMV, some power, and anyway, a bunch of stuff there. So putting this location right here in the seat of power and bringing the whole medical marijuana, in fact, I'm just not saying medical marijuana, the whole legalization movement. I just want to place a kind of like a headquarters of the radical left. We're the radical ones, the loose cannons, I get called all those type of names, and I could never get involved in none of the big organizations. The glass ceiling, the glass ceiling in the movement. I always contributed to, but either way, but that's what this is about here, doing this.
Definitely.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Since you asked, what were we doing?
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole bunch of things. We got a list of things. We've actually been doing a lot lately. I think between this group and the different people we're all networked with now, all the news media is definitely on our side. It seems like medical marijuana would happen here like that if we were allowed to vote here. We're not
Why aren't you allowed
to
to vote?
because New Jersey's not it's called an initiative state. We're not an initiative state like most Western states are. In fact, most of the original 13 colonies, all the original 13 colonies aren't initiative states.
So how does something become a law? How do you guys change stuff?
Only if the governor appoints it, puts a question on the ballot, or 2/3 of the state senate have to agree on the wording of one to put one on the state on the ballot. But citizens just can't do it. Like that's what's happened in
It's like a mini
Colorado, or that's
like
what's
a mini
happened in
America.
California. That's how those laws
We have an assembly.
happen.
We have a Senate, and a bill has to get approved in the Assembly. Then it goes to the New Jersey Senate, and then Governor Big Boy has to okay it.
So since he's already said to everybody he's never going to sign it, both the Democrats and Republicans, who actually are on our side, they're
What should
not
they tell
forcing.
us?
They're not forcing the issue. I think they should force the issue and make him veto them. That's what I think they should do. But you're a radical for saying things like that.
What were some of the measures you seen out there in Alaska that help speed up the cause? You know,
Well, they got the
Nothing.
vote on it, right?
Nothing.
they just needed it.
We just needed it. and we
Tired of
voted.
being in the dark for
No,
6
they-
months.
They tried in '98. We legalized medical marijuana. In 2000, I think they had a hemp campaign. In 2004, there was another campaign, and then
Were they successful too?
No,
They weren't. Okay.
and then
what?
2014.
Well, times have changed though. Over the last, I'll say, I've been publicly talking about marijuana since '97, and between '97 and now, things have drastically changed. Like, I used to get the middle finger. People would blow the horn, and I look over, and it's like, you know, because I would have stickers and things on my van. Like that's like the fourth weed mobile I've owned. The first one was just a kid. When I was a kid and I smoked weed, I was the only one with a van. And we called it the Weed Mobile, but it had nothing to do with politics. It was just dudes smoking weed in the van and all that. Scooby-Doo and van in it when I was a kid. But I called it the Weed Mobile. Then I had 3 of them since then. But now, you know, people follow me in the gas stations, you know, take pictures, whatever. The whole weed issue here, I think it would pass any vote if we were allowed to vote for it. But we're New Jerseyans.
That
But
sucks.
you can also do it in court. You can get a court ruling on certain things, and that's what I'm actually trying in court too right now. I have a case before the New Jersey Appellate Court that I actually argue on Wednesday, where I argue some of these medical marijuana things and some of the restrictions on travel and the reciprocity issue. I mean, we were just talking about the kids having to travel and refugees. If the state of New Jersey just allowed reciprocity, allowed the respecting of other states' cards, people can travel and bring marijuana from another state here instead of people packing up their whole lives and family and going there. You know, some of these parents could just get a card in Colorado, go to Colorado, get a card in Colorado, and bring their marijuana back to their children here once a month or so. You know, that could be one aspect. There can be services that would just do that for people, you know. And, you know, we live in the multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry, and if you could let free speech, let free enterprise happen, someone would come up with that idea and make it work as a business. You know, there's all kinds of businesses in this movement. And how about that? What do you think about the business? How the business aspect, the capitalist aspect of the marijuana movement has it's leading the charge for legalization. I'll tell you that. For one thing, it's financing. CNN's turned into the Cannabis News Network, you know. But But what do you think about that, and what's your observations about that? All this money going into it, and
I'm having a really, really hard time focusing.
oh, I'm sorry.
Sit